episode 72 of the Hooks In MMA podcast. We've got a big episode this week with 4 guests joining the podcast. First up, we've got Jamey-Lyn Horth, Harry Hunsucker, John Pazarian, as well as Brandt Dewsbery. Zone's going to talk a bit about those guests before we kick off our hot headline news, which will be looking back at UFC 269. And then, of course, getting ahead of that book, we've got a big fight night coming up with Daukus versus Lewis this Saturday. One of our guests there, Harry Hunsucker, is on the card, so be sure to tune in, cheer on those bets, and we'll see you at the cashier. Zoni, why don't you kick things off here?
Yeah, so just quickly with our guests, Jamey-Lyn Horth fought in LFA 120 last weekend, and she was the main event for the vacant flyweight championship. She's a Canadian out of Squamish, BC, and her brother-in-law, Cole Smith, was in the UFC, and then they let him go, so he's looking to get in, back in the cage and get a few wins and get to Bellator, back to the UFC. And she got a huge win for Canada, 5 wins in a row now. She's 5-0 as a pro, all 5 by finishes. She was supposed to be in Dana White Contender Series last year, and COVID hit, and that fight got bumped and then eventually scrapped because of timing. So this win right here, the championship, will get her UFC opportunity, which is awesome. Josh Parisian and Harry Hunsucker, prelims of UFC this weekend. A couple of heavyweights looking to climb up in the ranks. And then Brandt Dewsbery, my favorite story. Crons, you might have been in the building back in the day for Score Fighting Series. We went to a few of those cards, and a guy on the undercard fought a local guy here named Ryan Dixon. He lost that, but that was one of only his 3 losses. He's 15-3, and he's got 14 finishes. And he's back after 6 years. Took a break, got married, had to go up on the oil sands and save up to try and buy a house for their family. He's got a couple of kids. Only been training on weekends, and he's looking to come back here and beat KB Buller, who we've talked to before. He was in the UFC. He got released. So it's a very interesting battle between a guy that's sort of in his prime, that's been in the UFC, and a guy that was like really good back in the day and working his way back after 6 years. So I'm really pumped for that card. Crons, I know you like Iron Pole, he was from Ireland, and he's Polish, but he lives in Canada, sorry. And he's looking to get a W2. It's one of the title fights in Unified. So that'll be a good fight.
Big weekend ahead. So looking back at the biggest pay-per-view arguably of the year there, UFC 269, let's break down some of those fights and implications, what's going to come next. Not sure where you want to start here, Zone, but what were some of those standouts in your eyes?
Yeah, I'll jump right to the main event. Fantastic fight. 2 different styles. Poirier's obviously been on a run. Oliveira's been on a huge run, but just won the title over Gaethje. And they matched up really well stylistically. We knew it's going to be crazy. And then the first round was pretty nuts, I would say. Opened it up real nice. We're into the second round. Charlie started to kind of take over. The knees to Poirier in round 1 were the beginning of the end for him. He took a few right to the solar plexus. You knew it stung his body. And in round 2, he just pulled guard almost not pulled guard, but once he was down there, he didn't try to get up for almost the entire second round. And then he's gassed out, body shut down, and Oliveira ends up getting in the third round, a nice combo and ends up finishing the fight like he usually does. He looked fantastic, and kind of just proves that this run he's been on isn't a joke.
What'd you think of that one, Z?
Yeah, no, I thought it was really entertaining fight, and I thought one of the most interesting things that, like, in terms of after the fight and the results, it's always funny, right? Guys are saying that Poirier gave up and Poirier, he wasn't getting up in the second round. There's so many things he could have done, stuff like that, and it's so easy to say, outsider looking in. And, anyone that thinks Dustin's a kind of guy that gives up can just go back and look at the Gaethje fight, fight or anything like that, and know, hey, this guy doesn't. It's the exact opposite of giving up, right? Like it's not what it is, and you clearly. That's why it surprises me, like even when the commentators and other fighters are tweeting this stuff, right? Rogan was getting on him, I think again in the second round, right? He's like, why isn't he just? He was in the guard. He's like, why isn't he just getting up? Why isn't he just getting up? Well, it's not that easy when you have Charles Oliveira, like a complete assassin, like just bad, like trying to crush your head, right? Like it looks like you can just get up, but it's not the way that it works.
And so to add to what you're saying, Z, sorry to interrupt, to add to what you're saying, like that's what he said he learned from the Khabib fight. He tried to get out too quick, exerted too much energy, got turned and choked. And he said in the second round, he kind of just wanted to give up the position, lose the round, move on to round 3, because he wanted to, string out the fight in the 4th and 5th round, where he's awesome with his cardio, and Olives has never been past the 3rd round in his entire UFC career. So it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's asking why Dustin didn't just get up is like asking why Calvin Kattar didn't just stop Max from punching him in the head. Yeah, like, you can't just say, you can't, okay, well, you can't just, you're not going to matrix dodge the kid, like, and he's just nonstop coming at you. So what do you want him to do? Like, yeah, so but that's why it surprised me with the Rogan even making those comments, and he sways everyone that way. Other professional fighters start tweeting the same thing. But yeah, it's most people talking about that quitters have never been in that situation. I feel like when someone's like about to choke you out, or can easily grab your neck and fuck you up. So yeah, like it was a great fight. I wasn't surprised by the result at all. It was kind of one of those ones where you're going to be happy with the winner and sad about the loser no matter what. So
yeah, good way to put it.
Yeah, definitely a good fight, and I enjoyed it.
Wasn't it eerily similar to the Chandler fight too, where they both come out swinging first round, Chandler lands a few, Poirier lands a few, right? Kind of, you'd think Charlie Olives is rock, but then, gets through the round, survives, and then just kind of dominates from there. Like it almost like woke him up or just riled him up or something like that. So yeah, just crazy perseverance on Charlie Olives to, not get frustrated or give up his game plan, and just, went back and executed and won. So
another guy they were calling a quitter as well before, Charlie Olives, and saying that he gives up and all that sort of stuff. Well, again, it's like, you're in the 3rd or 4th round with another assassin. It's just, it's not giving up. It's a fight. So it's good kudos to him. And I think it was a great fight. Oh yeah, and that's what I was gonna say too, is that like that Olives, he had the same stigma before. But Chandler, he came back, same thing in the Dustin fight, right? He was getting messed up in the 1st round. Dustin, you can go back and look. Dustin's face at the beginning of the 2nd round was his eyebrows were up here. He was smiling, loving life. Then the 3rd round starts and he's like, oh, fuck, what am I getting myself into, right? So it was a very quick change there. That's why you can't discount any of these people out. And dare I say it, like Khabib versus Oliveira, like that's an extremely interesting fight. I don't give it to Khabib that easy. Like, I don't know, maybe it is recency bias, but I think that's a very interesting matchup that I think that people would really want to see, and something I think Khabib should seriously consider if they offer it to him. But he's got a lot of stuff going on himself as well.
Well, you're talking about recency bias. I would have to say that it's maybe that in this case, but I think Pena over Nunes is the biggest upset in UFC history. And I could argue with a few other fights like the Sarah GSPs and Weidmans and Silvas and those types of fights. But honestly, like, did you really think Pena had a chance this weekend, or last weekend, sorry, against Nunes? Like, Nunes has took over the sport. He stole the sport from Ronda Rousey and ran with it since. Has been double champ, murdering everybody. I don't think GSP and Sarah, there was a double champ in there at that point. So I don't know. This for me is the biggest in UFC history.
Unless you think about Cheeto Vera beating O'Malley.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. A few more fights.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I agree. Probably like at the stage it was at, right? Title fight, biggest upset in MMA. Like I'm sure there was some crazy plus 2000s winning on the card and shit like that. You can make an argument, but at this stage on one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year, absolutely. And talking about quitters, I mean, Nunes just didn't look like she wanted any part of it in the second round.
Yep.
It was weird because to me, she dominated the first round.
Yep.
And, you know, through 5 minutes, you're like, oh, here we go. It's just another, you know, one-sided Nunes victory. But, you know, she really got gassed. And I don't know if she had a tough weight cut or a tough camp or an injury. You know, maybe we'll hear in the next few weeks through interviews and stuff what might have happened. But
I'd guess the weight cut, the way you said that, that's what I think.
She's bigger, right? She's got that bigger frame. She could fight at a higher weight class. So yeah, that could have just zapped her. And you know, can't take anything away from Pena. She looked real good. And, you know, she's got a chin on herself too, because you saw the one side of her face was jacked up. So
Yep.
the hookless tap was great to see. You know,
Hookless.
I was like, this is wild. I couldn't believe that.
No hooks in it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to talk about quitting a little bit more, you might want to talk about the Nunes one as opposed to the Poirier. Like it's you know, I will say I'll give her, like, I think she had COVID 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or something. So who knows how that might have affected her, and that's probably what affected her weight cut the most probably. But I think she went into this fight a little overconfident. Who knows if she hadn't run over those last couple of opponents, maybe she would have pushed this one to another, you know, later in a couple months from now or whatever, but chose not to. And she looked a little out of shape, not completely prepared for Pena. And yeah, she almost kind of looked like it looked like her beating up Rousey, only other way around. Like she was just kind of head dodging, not a whole lot of technique, just head movement, looping punches, trying to just be like, you know, knock this girl out, but she wasn't going anywhere, right? And the same sort of thing. You look at her face beginning of the first round, completely different beginning of the second round. She was like, oh, this girl's still here with me, and doesn't look like she's going away too easy. And like you said, hooks in her hook lists in like tap out, because it wasn't even, I don't even know how someone even kind of taps to that exactly, right? Because it's like she just had her like standing over her, not spreading her out or anything, just standing over, like a big, like your big brother does to you, basically, just standing or put you in a headlock. You're not going to suffocate from it or anything, it just makes you look bad. And she just tapped to that. So
she either quit or it's rigged, one of the two. That's what I think.
Yeah, exactly. Well, who knows, right? But if it was rigged, she put on a good show, that's for sure. Because
well, Pena didn't, because she got up and just walked away, and she didn't even celebrate. And she was like, yeah, fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't believe it was real.
Thanks,
like
Fat Tony, for walking.
What's that?
She said in the one interview she didn't, like, it didn't dawn on her till like 2 minutes after.
Yeah,
that.
she did say that. You're right.
Like, she was in like almost disbelief in a sense, you know. So
it's rigged.
Basically, by process of elimination, it's rigged.
Yeah, Nunes, she didn't look like she wanted to be in there in the set. Like, she just lethargic, and I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, I think Nunes quit. That's my play.
Yeah. And hey, man, maybe you get to that point and you lose the will and competitive spirit or whatever, right? Like,
has a daughter now, like family stuff takes over, less training, more hanging out with your family.
She's over it, right?
Maybe
lost that hunger or that fire in her. So anyways, we'll see if she can bounce back. She said in the post-fight interview she definitely was coming back once that rematch. So not sure what they're going to book next, but
yeah, just a couple other quick things. Dominic Cruz looked fantastic. You know, people are saying maybe him and Aldo next. That would be an awesome fight. I think they'd both be down for that. Couple legends. That's pretty good fight. And then obviously Sean O'Malley beating Julian Paiva. big win for O'Malley, somebody closer to the top 15, still not there. And now he's in the top 15. And my boy, Merab Dvalishvili, said, let's go, bro. That is an interesting matchup between the really explosive, best cardio and maybe all of MMA wrestler against the stand-up, pick you apart, stand-up killer. I really like the matchup just to see who's better at what. There's a couple others you could do. You can match him up with Song Yadong, and he just had a huge knockout win. Maybe a couple of the other guys off losses like Munoz maybe, but the future is bright for the kid, but he's got to beat some people inside the 15 here, and he'd get a chance with this next fight as long as the UFC is going to pay him, and they said they will. So you'll see him in 2022 fairly early in the first quarter, and he'll be fighting somebody ranked, and let's see where he's at.
Maybe Marlon
Moraes. Yeah.
Right. Who I guess is now a veteran and a potential gatekeeper. So yeah, I mean, I agree.
Still ranked ahead of him. So yeah, it's a good fight. That would be stand up a lot too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see what he's truly capable of.
Yeah.
That Merab fight would be really good though. I just feel he would chase him around the ring trying to get takedowns, and O'Malley's just like backpedaling, running.
I'd love to see that.
Throwing like weird counters or something, you know?
Yeah, just the crazy little Georgian running around trying to muscle man him,
stalking him down.
Yeah.
So yeah, any other upcoming potential matchups you wanted to speculate on, or
yeah. I'll just throw something quick. So Nate Diaz throws out Dustin Poirier. It's now or never. January, let's fight 2022, which is huge because Poirier's coming off the loss, thinks that he's not going to fight at 155 anymore. Diaz is waiting there, but Diaz wants to maximize the profit for himself. So he's thinking, if I can get Poirier in January, maybe I can get McGregor number 3. That's always going to happen in like April or something like that. And then you hear the other day McGregor saying, I got the next title shot with Charles Oliveira. They could easily make that around the same time. And the only guy that's left out of this whole equation is Justin Gaethje. And Gaethje has already been chirping for a while that he didn't get the title shot. He thought he should have got it before his last fight against Chandler. And if they pull a McGregor and pay him, and Gaethje doesn't get that chance against Oliveira, that's going to be a lot of fucking hell, man. I'm telling you, he's gonna make it known, and could be another bad look for the UFC. So I'm hoping Gaethje still gets it. He deserves it. I know McGregor brings in the money, but I don't like where it's going right now. But I would like to see Poirier and Diaz. I think that'd be a sick stand-up fight too.
Yeah. How about you, Z? Any potential teased matchups, dream matchups that you think could have a shot here in the next few months?
I think I just saw Sandhagen came out. I don't know if maybe you might have mentioned their zone, but Sandhagen came out and said Dominic Cruz. I think that would be a pretty cool one.
Yep.
At bantamweight, you know, Sandhagen really looks up to him. I know he's a fan of him for sure. So I think that would be a super cool one. And Cruz is looking, you know, just as good as ever, man. And he's probably one of the strongest mentally fighters or people out there, actually, and just in general in the world, probably. So I've been really impressed with him, his performances as late, with, you know, how older he is getting, despite, you know, his success outside the cage with analysts, and he can make, you know, good amount of money doing whatever he wants, but he can
even chirp Cormier at fight week too. He's got that kind of confidence as well.
I love Cruz for that. Like, he just always says what he means, and he's just like, yeah. And then even Cormier talked to him about it. He's like, yeah, he didn't back down at all. He's just like, yeah, that's the way I feel. Like, yeah, you don't do your research, man. And so he didn't back down from it.
And don't get me wrong, I like Cruz too. But then I saw somebody post some commentary from Cruz when Khabib was with, I guess he was fighting Poirier, I think. He kept punching him. He's like, it looks like he's trying to tire him out. And Joe Rogan's like, no, it looks like he's punching him in the face. And they're just chirping Cruz,
Yeah.
like coming back on him for what he was saying to Cormier, but pretty
Yeah.
funny nonetheless. They made up, and they're both good in their own ways. So
Good banter.
Yeah, because DC's probably one of the most fun. That's why he's so well liked by everyone in the industry and fans. He's probably the nicest guy out there, nicest fighter out there. Always jovial, always can take a joke pretty well. Whereas Dom's the opposite, right? He can't take a joke too well, and he's pretty intense and serious all the time. So, but it works well with both of them because they know where each other's at. So that's always a good dynamic, I think.
Yeah, I know we talk about the division a lot, but welterweight too, like really excited. Just I feel like there's got to be a fight booked any day now, right? You look in the top 10 and there's only one book fight, and that's this weekend, Wonderboy fighting Bilal, who's just, I guess, on the bubble there. But I mean, the more I look at it, I think stylistically, Sean Brady and Luque would be an unreal.
Oh yeah,
like just a war, and like
fine.
Kind of like O'Malley, right? Brady just, perfect record, but like hasn't really been tested all that like.
So from what you're saying, Kranz, I'd love if they do Khamzat Edwards, number one contender. Luque and Brady would be the next number one contender, the winner off that. I think that'd be pretty good.
And then I just don't know what you do with Burns, I guess, right? Maybe you do the winner of Bilal and Wonderboy.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I would do.
From what I can remember, Wonderboy lost a close decision to Burns, so maybe,
if Bilal wins.
Yeah, and especially if Bilal wins, then he gets a chance at Burns. So
that'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
If Bilal beats Wonderboy, I think he deserves to fight a Burns. Why not?
Yeah, I mean,
he was against Edwards. He was losing, but like it obviously, I think it was a no contest. If I'm not mistaken, the eye poke. So, I mean, that wasn't really his fault. It's no contest. So, if he can beat Wonderboy, yeah, him and Burns, that's a good little mix there.
So I really do think in the next few weeks we're going to see some bookings because there's nothing. Once we pass Saturday, there's literally nothing that I can see really. The next fight is Michelle Pereira and Muslim Sakalikov. So
yeah, and I did want to. I've mentioned him a few times, and they just announced a fight for him. It's Shavkat Rakhmonov. This guy's fucking crazy.
Carlston Harris.
Yes, he's 14-0, 2-0 in the UFC. Beat two unreal Brazilians and finished them both. But Harris is an absolute murderer too. I'm like really excited for this fight. This is like maybe to jump just inside the top 15, but it's going to be a huge matchup here.
Yeah, that could be a sleeper one for sure.
Sleeper for sure.
So talking about sleepers, I think we do have a sleeper fight night card coming up this Saturday. The more I look at these matchups, the more I get excited. So Z, why don't you kick things off, getting ahead of that book? Easy lines, last segment for 2021. So you guys better put in all that Christmas money onto your Bet365.
We just won't post it. You have to listen to this.
Yeah, you got to listen in the entire thing. And I feel like we've eclipsed our 60% success rate goal. So why don't we keep the train rolling, Z?
Absolutely. So to quickly kind of recap performance 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get an Easy Lines episode out last week before the big pay-per-view, so we apologize for that. But hope you did see that last episode as we took Jose Aldo to win by decision and the over all the way. So currently we're sitting at 147 wins and 95 losses with a winning clip of 60.74%. The grind to 65% is underway now. We'll have to stay pretty hot in 2022, but that's the only way to get better is by setting these goals, and I think it is a fair one to aim for. Upcoming this weekend, we do have a great main event showcase heavyweight fight between the number 4 ranked Derek Lewis, number 7 Chris Daukus. Despite being lower ranked, Chris is the slight favorite at -138. Lewis is the underdog at +110. Lewis is pretty close to a household name at this point. We won't get too much into his career, but he's been amongst the top heavyweights in the game for the past 4 or 5 years now. Really had a shot at the title against DC, lost in the second round due to rear naked choke. Somehow got TKO'd by JDS after that in 2018, and then went on, JDS actually went on to have a 4-fight losing streak after that, got cut by the UFC. Ironically, Derek Lewis went on a 4-fight winning streak after that loss, only to run into Cyril Gahn last fight, who's now fighting for the belt in January. So, you know what they say, you learn more from a loss than a win, and I think this situation kind of clearly shows that's kind of what happened to Junior Dos Santos and Derek Lewis in their career since that time. Now Lewis really kind of sees himself hanging on to that top 5 ranking at this point. UFC's feeding him an absolute monster. Fast up and comer in Chris Daukus. Chris is 12-3 in his career, but hasn't lost in the UFC. He holds a 4-0 record in the UFC. Not a single one of those UFC fights has gone more than 7 minutes total either. 3 of them have been stopped in the first round. His power looks devastating. It's a classic power versus power at heavyweight. So I'm going to have to go with Lewis here myself. I think that his experience is really going to outweigh anything Daukus can bring to the table. In my opinion, at least, who knows, anything could happen certainly, but as an underdog, Lewis +110, I think the value is there. He's been in there with Gahn. He's been in there with DC. He knocked out Curtis Blades recently, who's like the best grappler in the division, basically, right? So I have to go with the value here. Him by finish is a +150. I don't see Lewis winning any type of decision now or ever, really. So yeah, or that Nagano one was an absolute just outlier. But I don't see that happening again here, especially in this 5-rounder. So Lewis finished +150, him in the second round +700. That's my value bet. The over-under looks pretty interesting as well. Over 1.5 is a -125, unders -110 at that range. It's hard. I'm going to go with the over 1.5 here. I think they're both going to respect each other's power. I do think it very likely it ends in the second round sometime. I'm leaning on the end of the second. Maybe it goes to the third sometime as well. That's what I'm leaning on here. Again, tough one. Will not be surprised if someone gets KO'd 2 minutes into the fight, but I think that there's a little value there on that over, because obviously everyone's going on the early KO here. But yeah, what are you guys thinking for this one?
Yeah, I 100% agree with the over on that one. The other one, just within the same fight, would just be Lewis money line. I don't love the difference in price, the money you would gain from going knockout, even though I don't think it would go to a decision. That little bit of a jump doesn't do it for me, so I just rather stick with the money line at +110 for Lewis.
Yeah. For the risk of just a freak decision, it's weird how it's only 40 cents more. So I agree, moneyline Lewis, and I like in that round 3 +1400, which we both cashed in on
Yes.
Charlie All, right? Yes. So why don't we keep the head or main card round 3 finish going for the underdog?
I'm locked in and loaded after that comment.
It's great value, and I think has a realistic chance of happening. So
yep, like it.
Sweet. So who else do we got back here? So Wonder Boy and Bilal Muhammad, I believe, is the co-main. How are you feeling about that one, Z?
Yeah, no, not too much in-depth analysis for anything else here this week, but for the Thompson Muhammad one, I mean, I like Thompson by decision, but there's not a lot of value there at all, right? +100, only double your money. I think that's not really worth it. Bilal doesn't get stopped very often. Well, I don't think he's ever been stopped other than that weird kind of eye poke thing that happened, right? So it's unlikely, but I think there's some value there at plus 333 for Thompson by finish. That's another value bet there for that fight. I think there's just some value there. He's gonna obviously has amazing striking. He's good as he's ever been. He still looks, his face still looks like he's like 22 years old. He's got the baby face still going. So I don't know. He looks fresh as fuck. I think he's going to come out there bouncing around, being able to perhaps put a TKO finish on Muhammad here. Again, not very likely. I think more likely it goes by decision, but there's not a lot of value there. So I'm going to recommend for the finish there for some type of value.
Yeah, I would just add to what you're saying, maybe throw that decision and add it in a 2-fight parlay with Lewis and Daukus over the 1.5. I think that's a great little combo there.
Right.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, get those multipliers going. So I think those are easy lines, best picks of the week. Zony's always good for some little sleeper picks on the undercard, some value plays perhaps. What other matchups kind of caught your eyes maybe earlier on in that card?
Yeah, there's a couple I liked. I wanted to add in. So I already said Lewis money line. The Thompson Muhammad, it's minus 225 to go to the distance. I like it to go to a decision. They're both, pretty tough, and I don't think anybody's going to knock anyone out or finish anybody on the ground in that fight. The other couple I had was Gerald Mearshart. He's a minus 110 to finish. Dustin Stoltzfus. He's finished his last two, Mearshart. He's unbelievable if he can just get a hold of you, whether it's standing or on the ground. And I think he's going to find a gap here in this fight and finish him by some kind of a choke. And then the last one I had was Raquel Pennington and Macy Chiasson. I think they're both really tough, but at this point, I don't think Pennington has the power to finish Chiasson. So I think that one goes the distance. It's minus 250. So not crazy good value, but if you do add it in with a few of the other ones we've talked about, then I think that'd be good.
I'm kind of liking the Matthews Gamrots, just Polish power there to get it done.
Ferreira.
Yeah, will be a good fight, I think, but yeah, it's not a lock by any means, but I do like that money line, minus 188. And then we were talking a bit about it before the podcast, but Darren Elkins plus 170 against Cub Swanson. I think that line's a bit inflated, recency bias. Cub has had a nice little run as of late, but we all know Elkins is just a beast and kind of weird, seems to get more energy as the fight goes on. And
Yeah.
he always seems to lose the first, maybe second round, and then either finishes third round or like just grinds out like a split or just, one of those working man decisions. So yeah, I'm liking the plus 170 there on old Elkin Dog. And I think that's about it for this week. Or did you guys have any other matchups you want to preview? Even like the two guest matchups, Hunsucker Tafa and Parisian Jamey-Lyn.
Yeah, those are just a couple fights that'll be good on the undercard. Heavyweights always show out, right? If you can, if I don't care if you're in the States or wherever you are, Canada, tune into that unified card on Friday. There's two title fights, and then that fight that'll be interesting. A guy that hasn't fought in 6 years against a guy that just got released from the UFC. So it's a good card, and then we roll in UFC, and then a few week break, and we wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Amazing. Merry Christmas, everyone. May the bets go in your favor, and we'll catch you in January on the race to 70%.
Hooks in, baby.
Really getting ahead of that thing.
Next up on the Hooks In MMA podcast, we're lucky to have on 7-4 heavyweight. He's got a big matchup on December 18th. The last
card before the end of the year here. Harry, the Hurricane Hunsucker, how's it going, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, thanks. So first, just tell the viewers, where you're from, kind of what, got you into MMA, and just a little bit about yourself. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So my name's Harry Hunsucker. I'm from a place called Richmond, Kentucky. And that's in the States, of course, United States. And I got into MMA because I was getting in trouble at school pretty heavy and getting in fights and, fooling around with drugs and, just hanging out with the wrong crowd. And, my guidance counselor actually recommended that I try martial arts classes. And I was like, nah, man, that's stupid. So I never really got into it. And then one of my friends who's done like a bunch of my tattoo work, they were hosting some fights down about 30 minutes south of where we lived at the time. And he went down to one of the fights and he won. And I was like, well, if he did it, I have to do it now. Cause he was one of my road dogs, you know what I mean? He's one of my boys. So I did it and I won my first match by TKO, and it's kind of been history ever since. And I don't know, man, that risk, that chance happening has led to now I run 4 successful martial arts schools. We've got, 600-700 students between the 4 schools. And, I teach martial arts every day. This is what I do for a living. And, I have, since I was a little kid, always wanted to do something great. I wanted to be something that I just wanted to be somebody's hero, I guess. Cause I was born in the dumps, man. I was born and lived in a trailer park, and I didn't want to grow up to be like the people that I saw most of the time. And so this whole martial arts thing happened, when I was 18 years old, and it's been the biggest blessing of my life, man. It's led to my dreams, and on December 18th, we get to capitalize finally.
Yeah, I was going to say, a blessing in disguise. I'm a high school teacher myself, and my goal as a young kid was to I coach. That's probably my first passion. I coach, but being a teacher, being able to give back, being able to repay some of the people that inspired you when you were younger. So it sounds like a similar story, just within martial arts. And obviously, you've got to the big show, and December 18th, we'll see what's going on. Just speak to your experience with the Contender Series, and then with your matchup here against Justin Taffa on the 18th. What's gonna alter you to victory?
Sure. So the Contender Series was a very cool experience. I showed up well in that fight. The fight was going well until it wasn't. And I know that's how it works in MMA or in a fight. It's sometimes it'd be going great for you, and then all of a sudden it's not. So that was a great experience for me. I came back from that fight and I wasn't upset at all. It sucks to lose, and it had been a while since I lost, but I knew the short notice part of the fight was a big deal. And then I was making some poor decisions. I've had my battles with drinking and alcohol has been a huge hindrance for me. And I quit drinking 6 months ago. And, I had one beer with my buddy the other night because he won his fight, and I had a celebratory beer, but outside of that, I've not been drinking at all. You know what I mean? And,
congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, man. So then fast forward to the Tuivasa fight, the similar thing, but it was on a much higher magnitude. You're talking one of the top 15 heavyweights in the world, in MMA, and you're fighting that dude on 4 days notice. And I was making the same mistakes I made in the Contender Series. It was a short notice fight, of course, so I wasn't really prepared for it. And I was drinking too much. I was eating like shit, and I had to pay for it. You know what I mean? But, the UFC showed me respect for stepping up on short notice, and they gave me the full 4-fight contract anyways. And now we get our fair shot. You know what I mean? I called Taffa out on Instagram, not because I have anything against him at all, but just because I think it's a great matchup. And I think that we're sitting in similar seats right now. You know, he's lost his past two. I've lost, you know, the only two times that they've called me up, I've lost both of those, even though they were on short notice.
Yeah.
So I just feel like we're sitting in similar seats right now, and it's just a great fight to make. And, you know, I was blessed that the UFC made it happen. You know what I mean? I don't think that many debut guys get to call their
shots.
Like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, I don't know how it happened, but it just came to fruition, and I'm super thankful and blessed that it did. And I've been putting in work, man. I'm ready to fight, dude.
Yeah, we can't wait for that. Very excited for the last three cards here of 2021. It's been a great year overall. So hopefully you can get a W there to end it there. We finish off just kind of with between round segment. I'll ask you a question. You give me your best answer, okay?
Sure.
Favorite sport other than MMA?
Want this to be quick? You want this to be quick answers?
Yeah, quick
right?
answers.
Okay,
one minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yep. Quick time. Favorite sport other than MMA?
Football.
Favorite football team?
So I'm a New England Patriots fan, but right now I'm watching the Buccaneers too, and then I'm a University of Kentucky football fan too.
Okay. I am a Bucks fan. You're not going to see many of us up here in Canada, but this has been a long time coming that 2002 and then this past year happened. So I couldn't be more thankful. University of Kentucky as well. Yeah, I've been down there. Amazing time. I'll talk about that in a sec. And what favorite kind of movie or TV series?
Favorite type of movie, I would say like action movies or thrillers, and then favorite TV series is Shameless.
100%. Okay, fantastic. Yeah,
ever, always.
Yeah. Favorite cheat meal after a fight?
Favorite cheat meal, cake, ice cream, any dessert. And so, listen, I'm drinking beer after this fight.
Yes,
so like if a favorite meal was alcohol, then I'm definitely drinking some beer after this fight.
Sounds good. Your favorite spot to travel to that you've been to?
The beach. Anywhere where there's a beach, man.
Yeah. And a favorite couple of fighters of all time that you have?
Favorite fighters of all time: Anderson Silva, GSP, Cowboy Cerrone, Nate Diaz. That's probably it. That'd be those four probably.
Awesome. Yeah. And just to finish up, I've been down to Kentucky a few times and had a great time. I played basketball in high school and we had a couple tournaments down there. It was a fantastic time. So
that's awesome.
Nothing but good things to say down there. Yeah. Any sponsors, shout outs, or social media to finish up?
Sure. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my manager, Pat Wilson at Rise Sport Management. He's been great. I mean, he's family to me now. And listen, COVID's been going on the whole time I've been signed to Rise, and we've never got to meet in person, but like, he's a close friend of mine and we've never even seen each other face to face. My gym, Elite Martial Arts, the gym that I do my MMA work out of, Lexington Jiu-Jitsu and Fitness, then the Kentucky Fighters Group that you see on my shirt here. That's something that me and my boy Trent invented, and we've been running here to help local MMA fighters get to the next level, cross training and stuff like that. And then all my sponsors, man, I have an amazing team of sponsors around me, and you know, I appreciate them so much. If you guys want to check any of them out, follow my social media, because that's where I post them at. My Instagram is at Hurricane_Hunsucker. You guys can follow me on IG. Okay.
Thank you so much. As you can see the calendar in the background there, this guy's got a loaded schedule, not with just fights and training himself, but helping some younger guys as well. And can't wait for the 18th. We appreciate your time, Harry the Hurricane Hunsucker. Get a W. This is Hooks In MMA.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next up on the Hooks In MMA podcast, we're lucky to have on 14-4 heavyweight. He's coming off a big win, and he's looking to make it 2 in a row here on December the 18th. Josh Parisian, how's it going today, man?
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. We appreciate you. And just, speak to what got you into MMA and, ultimately how you got to the big show.
I grew up in an abusive home, didn't have a lot of confidence. I ended up getting into mixed martial arts for confidence. I got talked into taking a fight because I didn't intend on fighting. I won that fight. It made me feel good. It made me feel good the way that like other people talked about it and hyped me up about it, and they were super pumped about it. So I just kept fighting, and I went 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. I think I went 4-0 before I lost one finally. But as I was doing it, I was getting my confidence back. I felt good, and then I set small goals for myself. Like, okay, I'd like to get an amateur belt, and I did that. And then I just kept making small goals, and I ended up getting all the belts in Michigan for amateur. Became the number one amateur, went pro, became the number one professional heavyweight outside of being a major organization. And then I just eventually all those small goals led me to the UFC.
Yeah, so you mentioned small goals, and looking away from mixed martial arts, even sports in general, for anybody that's aspiring to be something, it's important. I'm sure you could speak to as well, that you make small goals, that you have small targets to reach in a certain amount of time instead of reaching too far too quick. Would you say that that's kind of how it worked for you, and the reason why you are where you're at today?
Yeah, I would say that. I would say like the smaller you make your goals, almost the better, and all those small goals will eventually accumulate to make the big goal. So as like an example, like if I set a goal, I'm gonna eat better this fight camp. That's like a smaller goal. But if I had a goal every single day, like these are just small goals. Like every day I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna have this for breakfast. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna, you're just making all these small little things. And even in a fight, like in a fight, I'm not looking like to the end where like I have to win. That's the goal. No, the goal is like, okay, I'm against the wall. Now my small goal is I have to get off the wall. You know what I mean? And even a short term as 15 minutes in a fight, like all those small goals are going to accumulate to me winning.
Absolutely. No better way to put it than that. Yeah, so you're on a 6-fight win streak, all finishes, and then obviously the last one came at the Contender Series, and then you had your first fight inside the UFC octagon. Didn't go your way, but you got your next one. I guess my next question is, how do you make it 2 in a row? You are fighting Dontel Mays, who actually looked pretty good in his last fight. What do you think about him, and how do you stack up against him?
I think he's a great kickboxer. I think that I will beat him in the cardio game. I think that I'm gonna have better cardio. I think that I can set a higher pace than him. I think that when he's traditionally slows down, I start going up. You know what I mean? So I think that I've always been traditionally a slow starter, and obviously I don't want that to happen. I mean, if it does happen, but I think that eventually we're going to cross where he's going down and I'm coming up, and I think that'll happen sooner than the halfway point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I actually couldn't agree more with you. Just being an outsider and an MMA fan. You spoke a lot about Michigan. Is that where you grew up, or?
Yeah. I was born in West Virginia. I moved to Escanaba, Michigan. It's in the UP, the Upper Peninsula part. I moved up there maybe the summer between first and second grade, and I started second grade up there. I lived there for until I graduated, a couple of years after I graduated high school, and then I moved to downstate. But either way, Michigan still.
Okay. Yeah. So we're actually not too far away from each other, I don't think. I'm an hour south of Toronto, about 2.5 hours from the border there. So been over to Michigan a bunch of times to watch some college sports, and fantastic state to do so.
Yeah, when you started talking, I thought you were from Michigan, actually, from the UP.
Oh, okay.
You say that things the same way that they do up there.
Yeah, it's not
like
too far.
That's a Canadian thing too, I guess.
Yeah. So just outside of fighting and training, any other hobbies that you have that you follow?
I started getting into. I have ADHD, so I'm always getting these new hobbies, and I get like really addicted, and I research it, and I'm infatuated with it. And then as soon as I started doing it, I kind of stopped really quick. But some that have stuck with me, that I really like so far is I've been doing medieval fighting. It's like it's SCA. It's a armored combat with there's swords, but the swords are made of rattan. It's a very hard wood that doesn't split, it splinters. But either way, it hurts. You know what I mean? You have to wear steel. You can get messed up, but that's a lot of fun when doing that. Ice fishing as a recent thing, but I've been really enjoying that as well. So waiting for the ice to come. You guys probably might have ice up there already. We don't have ice yet, but
there's a little bit of ice up here. Yeah. And to be honest, I'm a big ice fisherman and fisherman myself. So whereabouts do you go down there?
So I have to find a spot down here because I take it up to the UP because I know more places up there. But so I have to kind of figure that out. If anybody's watching that knows where the good fishing spots are, let me know. I didn't know my camera's all messed up. I'm sorry about that.
Regardless of the people that are watching, I know some good spots. If you ever cross the border, you let me know and I'll hook you up.
All right. I've never been to Canada before, so that would be.
There's no better way to be introduced to Canada than
I got the clam
ice fishing.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I like in July I recharged my batteries. I have like a Milwaukee drill auger, and I didn't think it'd be good, but it actually works really well.
Yeah.
And then I have I charged all my batteries. Charged my Vexlar flasher. I'm all in. I'm ready. I've been ready since July.
I haven't been ready since July. I was redoing my garage into a man cave, so it's there and it's waiting to be taken down from the loft. So we'll get there soon.
Okay.
Just to finish up here, we have 1 minute between rounds segment. I'm gonna ask you a question. You give me your best answer, okay?
Sure.
Favorite cheat meal after a fight?
I like Culver's. Yeah, Culver's there. They have Culver's.
No.
I like ice cream. They have like these concrete mixers. They're really good. Like you get Butterfinger vanilla. It's like a Blizzard. I don't know if you've had Dairy Queen. I don't know what Canada has.
Well, we've had some DQ up here for sure.
Okay.
What's your favorite sport other than MMA?
I would say it would have to be either the medieval fighting. I really enjoy that, or I like to watch curling. I think curling's fun to watch.
Yeah, curling's awesome. I watch it usually in the February month. We got the Scott Tournament of Hearts, so
Okay.
we'll look forward to that. What about favorite spot to travel to?
I have never been on vacation really. Actually, I did go to Florida once. I haven't really vacationed much, but we're planning on going to Tulum, Mexico, in February. So that might be my spot. That might be my favorite spot.
That might be your spot until 2023 when you come up and we get our limit ice fishing. Just a couple of your favorite mixed martial artists of all time.
Ooh. I really like okay, I really try to put people on a pedestal, you know what I mean? Because I don't like to make people's achievements out of something that I can't achieve myself. But I would say that somebody that I really enjoy watching, I like watching Gavin Tucker. He's not like super high on the rankings or anything, you know what I mean? But he's a fighter that I really enjoy to watch.
I got to interrupt you. I can't believe you just said that name. I'm a huge fan of him. And obviously, he's Canadian too, right? So, yeah, he's fantastic fighter. And unfortunately, he got clipped early against Ige, but he really is a complete martial artist. And he's got he did have a big fight supposed to be last weekend, and hopefully he's heals up and gets back at it soon. But yeah, keep going. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. I was really, and I'm more bummed that like I just didn't get to see him perform. Like even if he lost, like I mean, I'm not emotionally invested in it, but I like to watch him compete because he's very good.
Very good.
and I like his style. And then another person, I like Dan Hooker. I think he lost his last fight as well, but I really like his style. He's good. I like his striking. And then Sandhagen. Those are probably my three top favorite right now.
Yeah, so I like those answers because they're all guys that are 155 and under, and you're considered a heavyweight. So I rarely hear that. So I like that perspective. Dan Hooker, it looks like he was weighing in for 145 the other day, so he might be dropping down. And Sandhagen, huge battle recently, and hopefully he can get back up into the title race soon too. But three fantastic guys that you mentioned, and any sponsor shout outs or social media to finish up?
Yeah, thank my sponsors, Stratford Funding, and I'd like to thank my sponsor, Law Offices of Timothy McDonald. Law Offices of Timothy McDonald, hard to say quickly. Law Offices of Timothy McDonald. There we go. And then Phoenix Athletics, it's my strength conditioning program, my athletic development, and that's it.
Awesome. Just appreciate you coming on, giving us the time. And on December 18th, the last card of the UFC, I know that you're gonna bring the thunder and hopefully get that big W over Don'Tale Mayes. And Josh Parisian, this is Hooks and MMA. Thanks so much, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. You take care.
You too.
See you, bro.
See ya.
Next up on the Hooks and MMA podcast, we're lucky to have 4-0 flyweight, and she's got a big fight this weekend on Friday at LFA 120. Jamey-Lyn Horth, how's it going today?
Hi, it's good. How are you?
Good, thanks. So we've been trying to connect over the last year, and obviously, we got pushed back with your Dana White Contender Series fight with obviously the stuff going on. I hate mentioning it, so I won't even say the name. And you've worked your butt off outside of that opportunity, and you have yourself presented an opportunity this Friday. LFA, great organization. So just how has it been the last year, and what specifically have you been working on?
Oh, the last year is I quit my 9-to-5 Monday to Friday job. So I pretty much just dove right into martial arts. I've been a sponge to the sport. I've just really just put my whole heart and soul into it. And, having that opportunity last November not go through, it just kind of gave me that motivation to be like, hey, I got to get this done. And I got to use every resource and exhaust every resource available to me to make that happen. So this last year has been a really big growth and progress here for me. So I'm really excited to showcase everything that I've done.
Yeah, and looking forward to see that. Just you mentioned, I know that you're from Squamish, but before that, did you go there because of an opportunity with the gym, or have you always been there? Where'd you go? Yeah, how did that work?
I'm born and raised here, actually. So I pretty much haven't ever left. My sports, I've traveled to Vancouver, which is about an hour away when I needed to do sort of upgrading, but this town's pretty much built me from the ground up.
Yeah. So what are some things you did in Squamish growing up then before MMA?
I played soccer for years. I started when I was 5. I've been active in the community with kids soccer programs and, coaching and such, but I played rep soccer here until I was 14, 15. And then I finished my last 4 years of Metro, like a higher level down in West Vancouver. I played baseball here my whole life. Done logger sports for 6 years. So throwing axes and sawing and chopping and running over chokers running over water with a choker. So that anything, mountain biking, hiking, everything you could think of. But sports wise, I started with soccer and baseball, and then went to university for soccer here just locally, and couple universities, and that was it. And then I just jumped into martial arts.
That's awesome. What would you say is the biggest difference between Squamish and like a regular city?
Well, Squamish is like your typical small town, like what you'd see in a movie. You know what I mean? Like there's like the guys that sit at the coffee shop that every day, the regulars. It was a logging town for a long time, so there's a lot of rednecks. Call them Squamish dinner jackets, but like plaid jackets. Like they're pretty much born and raised here too. So, hunting, fishing, and forestry is a huge thing for Squamish. So small town, that kind of style.
Awesome. And just, for your amateur career, as I see you 3-0, how'd you make that decision to go from amateur to pro?
So we decided to make the transition to pro because, just being my weight and my gender and my experience, there just wasn't a lot of women. I'd fought pretty much everybody in the corridor. And, so we ended up having to kind of expand those horizons. And from the get-go, we trained as professionals. So it was a pretty easy transition, but it just opened the avenue and the doors to find some more opportunities and some more girls to fight.
Yeah, and then so you're amateur. Obviously, anyone could say your first few fights here, getting your feet wet. Those were all decisions, but you're all pro fights have been finishes. So what's the biggest change there? Is it sharpening the tools, having more weapons?
I think it's just a bit of both. Off bringing those knees and elbows in. Just time on the mats and experience and being more confident behind your hands as a person and knowing that what you got is there and available. So I think that was a huge thing for me, is just putting time in and believing in myself.
Yeah. So this Friday, LFA 120, one of the best organizations outside the UFC. I've watched it for a long time. You're the main event, and having the opportunity last year to be on the Dana White Contender Series, you have to think that this opportunity here is having you knock on the door for a UFC contract. What do you know about your opponent? Have you studied her a bit, and what's the key to victory here?
I think she's good everywhere. She's, we've seen some fight footage on her. She's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. She's got some knockouts. She's got some arm bars. So she's definitely be a well-rounded, not a slouch. And, we're prepared for pretty much every avenue that goes. And, I just think, as an amateur, I've gone through all the rounds. As a pro, I've never had to go through all the rounds, but I pick it up, you know what I mean? I go the distance and I'm not afraid to, and I think it's going to get drug into deep waters, and I think she's going to have a tough time.
Yeah. I can't wait to see that. By the way, how's your brother-in-law doing? How's Coach doing?
Cole's doing great. Yeah, he's doing good. He's coming with me.
Yeah.
Coach is right here.
Awesome. So
yeah.
got you prepared, and everyone's on track here to take that next step forward.
Yes, sir. We got a good team around me coming out.
Awesome. And just to finish up here, we do between rounds. It'll be 1 minute. I'll give you a variety of questions. You give me your best answer. Okay.
Sure.
Favorite spot in BC outside of Squamish?
Armstrong.
And why?
My mom lives there. That's country life, riding horses, rodeoing. It's great.
I think I know the answer, but favorite sport other than MMA?
Soccer.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite soccer team?
I like Team Canada.
Yeah, and obviously what a legend getting the gold there, and then obviously the men are moving up finally after many years too. So very exciting time. Favorite place to travel to outside of Canada?
Thailand.
Do you have a favorite movie series?
Step Brothers.
And
it's not a series. It's the only thing.
Yeah. Favorite couple of mixed martial artists of all time?
I've always loved Joanna Jacek. I just love her. I just love her attitude, even though it's not my style. And George St. Pierre, because he's just a professional in and out, not every time, 24/7. So
yeah, pretty good ones to pick.
Yeah.
And how does Friday finish up for you?
Friday finishes up with, a really exciting night. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a showstopper, and it's going to be something that you're not going to want to miss. So tune in and check it out.
Yeah, I'll be watching that for sure. And I'm sure many people will, rooting on our Canadian here from out west. And any sponsor shout outs or social media just to finish up here?
Oh man, I got a long list. I had a really good backing this time. I off the top of my head, Summit Concrete, Corridor Concrete, Hewitt Flooring, Wall to Wall Flooring, Squamish Barbell, the Sound Martial Arts, obviously my home and bread and butter. Sunny Chibas, Pepe's, Nicole Musgrave, Sean Wentworth. Man, you got me going here. Black Widow Entertainment, Luke and Emel have been amazing to me. Gosh, here we go. What am I doing? I don't even know now. It's been unreal. Pete Pearson and his company, Volcari Financial Services. Gosh, I'm rocking my brain. Iridium, you know, my agency, they've been amazing to me. I'm forgetting people and it's going to be sad. So, you know,
all the rest of them.
The whole town of Squamish, dude, it's been unreal. This fight camp, I couldn't have asked for a better, you know, surrounding, and I'm super stoked and excited to share all the success with the team.
And speaking with Cole before too, the Sunny Chivas, if I ever get out west, that's an absolute must apparently. So
yeah, it's a staple.
Yeah, can't wait to try that sometime. So yeah, this Friday, LFA 120, big, you know, main event fight here for you to get to 5-0. Can't wait to watch you do that. And we'll be backing you. Go Canada, go. Jamey-Lyn Horth. This is Hooks and MMA. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Next up on the Hooks in MMA podcast, we're lucky to have on 15-3-1, former welterweight. He is stepping up weight class at least here coming up, but he's got a big fight on the 17th here against KB Buller, and that's Brandt Dewsbery. How's it going today, man?
Hey, not too bad. Yourself?
Good, thanks. So, you know, just, you know, catching up on the past, you know, very successful career. And then obviously a break and mostly just asking you this for the fans out there that will see you on Friday that maybe don't know a lot about you. Why did you take that kind of hiatus?
Just kind of hit a crossroads in mine and my wife's life where kind of decided that something had to change to get ourselves ahead in life. And that was me going up north to the oil sands to make some money and kind of set ourselves up for the future.
Yeah, and that was so your last fight was 2015, but if you know people are wanting to know more about you, you know there were a few scheduled bouts more recently. So I guess what kind of brought you back to potentially fighting and ending up actually accepting this fight for Friday?
Well, we had our first kid, Hickson, and being gone all the time didn't really jive with me. It sucked leaving and then coming home and missing so much of all of his, I don't know, developmental stages and everything. So got a job back at home. And then the whole time I was gone, I still had the itch, just didn't really have the time for training. So got a job at home, would go in here and there, and it seemed like as soon as I'd walk in the door, my coach lead me in, would be like, so you want to fight? And would have the itch, but we booked one for a Rumble in the Cage, then COVID hit and got shut down, and tried to fight Hetty Ash and started training camp, and then just randomly my knee decided to blow out. And yeah, since then wasn't really looking for a fight. They just kept asking. It seemed like they were wanting to get KB a fight, understandably so, you know, try to get him back in the win column, get him back in the UFC, but see how that goes.
Yeah, we will see how that goes. Just you talk about getting back home and getting a job. So just where are you at currently? And you know, what did you do growing up there before you started MMA?
Right now I work for Chinook Treaters, so we kind of drive all around Alberta, Saskatchewan and stuff, treating seed for farmers. So fungicides, insecticides, pesticides, all that kind of stuff. And then I guess the spring's our busy time right now. I'm pretty much a glorified mechanic. And growing up, a little bit of everything, played sports, hockey, football, basketball, baseball, hunting, fishing, you know, all the outdoor stuff.
Yeah, and I do that stuff myself, and saw recently, you know, you had a hunting trip, and was it your son you took with you, or? Yeah. So what was that experience like? Because my oldest is 2 now and not ready to do that, but maybe next year or the year after, and then we just had another one. So I'm looking forward to those fishing and hunting trips myself. So how was it for you? And you know, how did he like it?
Oh, well, he loved it. Like I ended up going out and getting an elk, and then for where it was, we decided we just take the time to go back, get a horse, and grab Hickson, take him out with us, and quarter up the elk, and then haul it out and let Hickson come along for the journey and see how it's all done. And he got to ride the horse with the elk, so he was pretty over the moon about it all.
Yeah, that's awesome. And those are the types of experiences, you know, I'm not sure about yourself, but me growing up, doing it with my dad, you know, it makes you kind of want to instill that in your own children. So it's kind of a full circle thing, which is great. Yeah. So just obviously KB, sure you know quite a bit about him. He's pretty big, fighter in Canada here. He recently came off that disqualification loss, and then the 2 losses in the UFC. Obviously, he's definitely looking for a win, like you said. So, just how do you see this matchup for you, more so stylistically, and how do you think kind of it's going to shape out?
Oh yeah, he's super tough guy. He didn't make the UFC by being any type of slouch. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Stylistically, I don't have a clue. I've 6 years off, and I'd be lucky to say I train 3 to 4 times a year. So I don't even really know what type of fighter I am. I wasn't really training leading up to this fight. I was going in Saturdays or Sundays. So the last week and a half has been hell on my body, but I don't know how we'll match up. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be fun because getting back in there and training, I can still do all the old things, can move the same, still got the push, still got the drive. Never let myself really get out of shape, so that helped. And I don't know, he likes to fight long and that distance, and then when he grapples, he's good, he's technical, he's smooth. So he's got a well-rounded game. I think I got a well-rounded game. So stylistically, I think it'll be, I don't know, barn burner anywhere it goes.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic card for Unified. Some title fights, and you guys will be kicking it off before them. But yeah, just being off for so long, like you still have the itch. Not to look past this week, but like a win puts you like 6 in a row, I believe, and more opportunities could open up. So we wish you nothing but the best, and looking forward to watch that fight. Do you have any sponsor shout outs or social media you wanted to add on to us?
Well, thanks for having me on. It's been awesome. Yeah, I want to throw a shout out to Peppermint Hippo. They've kind of been with me. Yeah, so I want to just thank Will and Ash Woods from Peppermint Hippo. They've been behind me since pretty much day one, and haven't had to been 6 years off with no explanation. But as soon as Will found out I had a fight, he was messaging me and asking what I need, what he can do, and they're just stand-up people. Then of course Lee Meehan, my coach, he's awesome at making people get out of their comfort zone and kind of giving you the drive to want to do better and succeed at something. And then just thank my wife Allie for being understanding and letting me do all this, because we got a 4-month-old and then a 4-year-old. So between crazy and wild and needs mom attention for the baby, she's had a lot on her plate the last week and a half while I prepared. So can't thank her enough either. So yeah, and then if people want to head over to biggamehero.com and give me a vote, trying to win a elk hunting trip.
I'll definitely do that, and hopefully some other people log in to do that as well. Yeah, I appreciate that. Just to finish up, we do a between round segment, so it'll be 1 minute. I'm gonna ask you a question and you give me your best answer, okay?
Yeah, you bet.
Favorite sport other than MMA?
I don't really have one.
Well, what about hunting? Let's go with hunting.
Yeah, I'll definitely hunting if you consider it a sport.
What about favorite spot to go to in Alberta? If you hadn't been there before, where would you tell people to go to check out?
No, probably West Edmonton Mall.
Yeah. And what about traveling for yourself? What's the coolest place you've been to?
Probably Thailand.
Favorite movie or TV series?
Oh, you're asking all the tough ones. Yellowstone, probably.
Oh yeah. Have you heard of the new one coming out here in the next week or so? It's a prequel to Yellowstone. It's got Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, and I always forget his name. The white mustache, the older guy with. He was in The Ranch, the show The Ranch.
Oh yeah, I can't remember his name.
But he's got that distinct low voice. I forget his name,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm gonna check that out. That'll be good. And just a couple of your favorite mixed martial artists of all time.
Well, the cliche George St. Pierre, and then Forrest Griffin and Chuck Liddell probably.
Yeah,
And then Fedor. You got to go with Fedor.
yeah, and he looked awesome last fight. So pumped to see what happens next with him. Yeah, Brandt Dewsbery, so happy to finally chat with you and looking forward to you getting back in there. I was a big fan back in the day when Score Fighting Series was around and put on some great performances then, and expect nothing less this Friday for anybody watching Unified. He's fighting KB Buller, and we wish you nothing but the best, buddy. Get a W, and this is Hooks in MMA. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot, guys.
No problem.
Appreciate it.